Hello and welcome to this festival special episode of Foodocracy Kitchens. And this time it's my turn to wish you a very happy Vishu. It's the new year in Kerala. And to speak with me, I've got Marina Balakrishnan, who's also known as that Thalaserry girl on Instagram. And she's been doing the Utupura meals, which I've been speaking of. We got first encountered it, I think, last year during the lockdown, and we become big fans of it. And this Sunday we had a Vishu meal. So from her, and I asked her, is it Vishu? So she said, no, it's on Wednesday. So I said, why aren't you doing a meal on Wednesday? So why aren't you doing a meal on Wednesday, Marina? What are you doing on Vishu?
So Vishu, very happy Vishu to all. So Vishu, what I'm going to be doing is, there are some rituals that you do. You wake up in the morning, you keep the Vishu Kani, and then there is offerings. So I'd like to stick to that because when I take up something like doing my meals for Utupura, I have to focus completely on that. And there is a lot of work otherwise going on at home on the side. So I just decided that I won't be able to do full justice to either of it,
You know, when you told me this, it reminds me of the Ling's, Baba and Nini Ling of Ling's Pavilion, which is one of my favorite restaurant in the city. So when all the Chinese restaurants in the city are doing Chinese festival on the New Year, the Ling's actually shut Ling's Pavilion for a week so that they can observe it. And I think that that's a lovely way of looking at it as well. And of course, your meals are so meticulous. I mean, the way it came packaged, and then the blueprint which you gave for the sadhya. So I did everything like a jigsaw puzzle, and it was so that and the meal, it was fabulous. But tell me, Maina, you grew up in Kerala, right? In Thalaserry, is that?
Yes, I grew up in Kerala. Most of my formative years I've been in Thalaserry, and that is where I think the most impressionable age I have been living at home with my grandmother. So that's actually my journey. It's only after my marriage that I came down to Bombay. Yeah.
So the correct way to pronounce it is Thalassery, not cherry.
Thalaserry.
All right, Thalassery. Okay, I've got it right this time, hopefully. So tell me, what are your memories of Vishu while growing up around your grandmom and in Kerala? What are your memories of Vishu?
So, Kalyan, what I think is that my memories of Vishu or Onam has been that of festivity, because of the whole the air of festivity would start about 2 to 3 weeks before, where my grandmother would be putting the pickles ready, keeping the pickles ready. She would have a injipuli in the baranis. There would be a lot of people coming and going. There would be planning happening constantly. And she would be talking to all the women who provide her the produce from the farms, because, she was very particular about a certain kind of banana that had to arrive at home, the jackfruit, the mangoes. So for me, what that meant was, it was a party time. It was like, there was so much of, the air was filled with festivities, one thing, but it was a household where the work would never stop. So what it was of joy, it was of abundance, it was of warmth, it was of so much of caring and sharing, because anybody who came home, my grandmother would see to it that that person would never go without having a bowl of paisam. And paisam used to be constantly cooked, because there's more jackfruit. She would make a jackfruit paisam or a jackfruit varatiyadu, the chakka varatiyadu, what we call.
And
So
what is Ada Payasam? Ada Payasam? Your
So
box
ada is like a rice. It's like a pasta. So it's made out of, you make a batter, you make a dough of the rice, you steam it, and then you cut it like how you would do a pasta. And
but when I had it, I thought it looked like rice only. So fine the work is, so intricate. My God.
Yeah.
It looked like grains of rice. Wow.
Yeah. So what initially what would happen is the ada would be made fresh at home for the payasam. But now, of course, because there is so much of modernization that has happened, and this it's quicker. So you do get very good brands of ada available for sadhyas. So, and with red rice, because the one that I use for ada payasam is with red rice.
Yes.
Yeah. So
And
I have something very interesting to share. This is something very beautiful about Vishu. And I think I put a post about it. It's called the Konnapu. And it's called the golden shower.
yes.
And
yes.
I think the botanical name is Cassia fistula or something. But this would be like, even if you see in Bombay, if you notice, there are trees all over, and it's very magical because it's around this time that this blooms. And this is supposed to be very, it's supposed to be the favorite of Lord Krishna. So Vishu as such is actually a festival. It's not a festival of harvest. So there are two festivals that happen. One is Vishu, one is Onam. During Vishu, so during Vishu, this grows in abundance. It's called the Konnapu. It's like a tree that grows, and the flowers look like little bells. And this is supposed to be the favorite of Lord Krishna, and we keep it with the Kani. Now, the Kani is something that you see first thing in the morning. So the actual ritual is that in the night, like tonight, I would keep the big uruli ready with all the things that is required to go for the Kani, and everything would be decorated. And you would decorate the statue of Lord Krishna and you would keep it there. So that signifies, it's actually abundance. It's actually bringing in abundance into your home. And this is a time when seeds are sown by farmers. So you will also have some seeds that's kept for the Kani. And this flower also goes beautifully there. And it's, the more you get it, I'm trying to get more of it so that I can decorate tomorrow. So I spotted a tree near my house and I've actually gone. That's one of the things I want to do in the evening, go and pluck this punna for tomorrow. And
you might bump into other folks from Kerala over there. It might become a meeting point for fellow Malayalis of yours.
So this is really beautiful because the Kani is kept in a certain order, and it's actually you light your lamp in the morning, and this is offered to the Lord, and then you take it around all the directions of your home, signifying that the positivity of it penetrates into your home. So you have rice, you have paddy, you have fruits, you have vegetables, you have mangoes, you have drumsticks, and then later you use that for your cooking.
So that's what I was thinking when you said abundance, that there's a lot of symbolism in our ancient or traditional practices. So it's not abundance just in terms of money, right? It's also health and a filled pantry.
Absolutely.
Right?
When you say abundance, I think it's just not, you can't connote it, you can't connote it only with money. I think it's also about your health. It's also about your joys. It's various factors of your life, your work, your family, everything.
One thing which interests me about Kerala is that it's a very multicultural state. So you have a significant Christian population, Muslim population, Jew perhaps, and of course the Hindu population, of which Vishu is this thing. So is Vishu a festival which sort of is celebrated by everyone back home, or is it one community takes the lead and invites everyone else?
Yeah, Vishu is celebrated by everybody, but not as much as Onam. Onam is kind of a state festival. So Onam is like, I think it's celebrated by all the communities, but the Vishu, I don't see so much of it celebrated by every community as much as Onam.
But do people who are celebrating Vishu, do they invite the others home, or is it more family?
No. My grandmother would invite, because since we live in Thalaserry, there are a lot of it is that there's a lot of Muslim population too. So my grandmother would invite them home to have the payasam, to have food. So just like they would invite us for Ramzan. So it was, she was very particular. And the payasam, I mean, in case they couldn't come, she would send it to their home.
And this year it's more or less at the same time, I think. Ramzan's also starting.
Yeah. I think today is
now.
Ramzan. Yeah, today is Ramzan.
So it's 1 or 2 days here and there. So now that you're, in a city and also away from Kerala, so not only just the city, but this thing. So it's very different from the life in your grandmom's house and where, so many people are coming in. So you must be missing that, right? So how are you trying to recreate and now create your own space or do it? Yeah.
Yeah, I really miss that. But I think Utupura has actually given me so much of joy regarding that, because I meet so many people. I am cooking for so many people. So here my grandmother would cook and she would call people from all over, she would send. But here I'm cooking for so many more people I don't know also.
Yes.
And it's so, I think it is so rewarding for me. I feel, I feel so grateful for the people who trust Utupura, who come to Utupura, because it's a huge responsibility on me. And I really feel so blessed to be able to cook for so many people. And I think my grandmother always used to say that the more you can cook and serve others, that's the biggest abundance.
And that's so true. And we've been having your food since last year. And over the months, we've been figuring out there's so many people whom we know, or my wife, Kenaz, knows through her advertising circles. Like I think she was talking of Kapil. And the other day, whom I don't know, or the other day I was recommending you to Mr. Harsh Goenka because he's vegetarian. He said, I'm a big fan of Marina's, or even Kenaz, my wife. She's not so much into vegetarian food, but she loves your food and the way it's packaged, and every time the little treats. Like I remember once there was a little bag of jaggery which had come, or when we'd had the cake from you, the Utupura cake, that little big bag of spices which when you opened it and the box, it took you to Thalaserry or Cochin or wherever. And this time there was a little bag of blessings. Tell us a bit about that. It was such a pleasant surprise.
So,
I have kept that, and I'm not sharing that with anyone. I'm going to buy some pet food for my 2 kitties with that. But tell me a bit about that.
That's so cute. So basically, the eldest in the family, that would be my grandfather. He would give us all kainitam. Kainitam is something which you give as a shagun to everyone. And I love this ritual in Kerala. Even if you go to a temple in Kerala on the day of Vishu, the main priest would give everybody who comes there something, like it would be just 1 rupee coin. But you know what? I have a lot of collection of that where I've received kainitam from my childhood. And it's so beautiful because it's not the amount there that's important. It's just not, if it's a silver coin or a gold coin or just 1 rupee. I just think that that coin has so much significance to it, has so much grace to it. And I remember when we were growing, of course, we would think, oh my God, we are receiving only 1 rupee, because we would be like, oh, we can go and buy whatever. But as I grew, I just realized that whole act of my grandfather, we would all sit and he would give each one of us a little bit of rice and this. And when I was doing my first Vishu for Utupura, this was a thought that came to me. Why not? This was something I grew up with. That little bag of rice, and it's a little shagun, and it would be 1 rupee that my grandfather would give us. But that meant so much to us as we grew up. And that is what I kind of introduced into Utupura, where the bag had that little rice, and it had the shagun, and it had that little pan leaf. So it just kind of signified, it's a part of my precious memory that I wanted to share. And it also signified my wishes to everybody who's coming to Utupura to grow every which way, to nourish themselves every which way in life, And whatever bag that I was giving, it was kept for prayers before I actually put it into the box.
I could feel that, and I felt so blessed that even the prayer leaf, the one sort of kept it aside. It's like in Bengal doing Saraswati Puja or Durga Puja, we keep a bit of flower aside for the year, and in our textbooks, hoping that we do better than get better marks than what our studies warranted. So, Maina, before I sign off, I just want to, if you could sort of explain to people a bit about like what is a sadhya, what is the Vishu sadhya, how should one eat it, is it course by course or whatever, without getting too technical, more the spirit of it really, and who better
Yeah,
than you to explain that?
yeah. So basically, the spirit of sadhya is togetherness. So what happens with the sadhya is the whole family sitting around, and the elders of the family, we would sit on the floor and have sadhya, and the elders of the family would serve us. And I think the whole act of a sadhya is that, the way food is laid out. And, every Ayurvedic text, I don't know which one I read, the Ayurvedic text says that, a sadhya, a Keralite sadhya is a complete balanced meal, because you have the flavors of the tamarind is there, the sweet, the sour, the spicy. So you have all of it in balance. And you have that inji puli on one side. And this is why I love inji puli as a condiment, because, the inji puli is used as a digestive. So you have so much of food there. So when you're eating the food, you're supposed to take a little bit of inji puli, dab it in your tongue, take the other morsel of food, eat, then again take some inji puli, which I've explained in that whole direction to the eating a sadhya.
And you just explained what inji puli is to all who are watching. I mean, rather than me saying it's a tamarind chutney, maybe you can just.
So the inji puli has got ginger, it's got tamarind, and it's got jaggery in it, and it's got chilies. It's got green chilies in it. So if you see, it is actually a great meeting point of flavors.
Yes.
So if you see, you can have a very sweet inji puli and it would taste like something like a sweet chutney, or you could have something absolutely filled with tamarind and it would be like very tangy. But to get their flavors absolutely in proportion, that way you have the taste of ginger going in, you have the taste of green chili. Of course, the ginger proportion is much more than the others, because you have your tamarind, you have your jaggery. So the ginger is there for a purpose as a digestive. So inji puli has a lot of healing properties also. So if you see a sadhya leaf, no sadhya is complete without an inji puli.
Yes. I've had it before at this deluxe restaurant where there were daily sadhya, but I didn't know the significance of and your inji puli has such a wonderful balance. I have a whole jar of it. In fact, she retails that as well. So you have dabs of inji puli, and then and you said that, and there's also the pacharis, which are like yogurt based sort of very coolant dishes, right? Is a pachari always yogurt based?
So so the pachadi is basically a yogurt based dish. It's got one part is yogurt and the other part is like a paste of grated coconut. So if it is a pachadi with valerica, you put mustard seeds. But if it's a pulisheri, which is again like a pachadi, but there is no mustard seeds, you might have a dash of methi in it. These are all yogurt-based dishes. But the beauty, and I think, I know I'm a Keralite, I am still so, I think it's my soul food. I just love that food. Because I think the balance of flavors, even in a pachadi that you see, is just amazing. Like if you see the mango pulisheri or the pineapple pulisheri,
so good, yes.
It is so different from a pachadi, though it's yogurt based.
Yeah, and then there's one with the lady's finger, the okra.
Oh right? Yeah, that is called a khichdi. So the khichdi, the base is actually like a pachadi, but it has got fried crispy okras on top.
And your sadhya had everything. Because it had the bhindi khichdi, then it had the pachadi, then it had the mango one, which is also
mango pulisheri was there.
Yeah, it is beautiful. And what about between sambar and rasam? Is there any order which to have first or whatever? Or
so the rasam
too much of a barbarian-like question?
No, but the sambar is of course had before. You mix a little bit of rice and you have your sambar. Rasam is had later on. But if you see, like there are people who would eat a bit of rasam, then they would go back to the inji puli. So there is, one can say that there is no charting into a sadhya leaf. It is how well you would want to, and you can mix all the flavors into it. You can mix sambar, you can mix pachadi, you can mix your avial, and you can have it. It's how you feel great about it. But the direction that I have given you is thinking that one is having the sadhya first time. So
like
the
us, yeah.
person shouldn't get a little overwhelmed. Oh my God, so
Indeed.
many dishes. What am I supposed to do? You know? And
I think
there
the
is something
only rule which you have, Marina has, is do not use fork and knife or chopsticks. Use your fingers while eating.
use your fingers.
Yes. So you
Yeah.
were saying something when I interrupted you.
No, I said the salt. If you ask me the reason for the salt, there's a very beautiful thing. So, of course, you can balance your food, which seems a little bit saltless, a little bit insipid. You could add salt into it. But there is also another reason why the salt goes as a beginning. It's also like a nazar. So, for example,
evil eye.
you know, it's actually to ward off that whole thing. So if you see, even when I put the salt into containers, I put the salt separately, but the chutneys are in another stand. There is a stand of ghee and salt. The salt goes on top, and then the ghee goes.
Yes.
So that is also there is a certain thought to it. There is a certain belief there. And I stick by that belief, because my grandmother always used to ask everyone, did you put the salt first? Because it's almost like, you put the salt, so you're taking away all the nazar of that leaf.
The evil eye. Because see, if it's an Utupura meal, I've had quite a few, the salt balance is never off. So it's never too much, never too less. I never had to add the salt, but I put it over there. And one more thing which Kenaz, my wife, was also pointing out when we sat and had the meal, is that this sort of food is a very wonderful introduction to people, especially from the Western world, to Indian food, because intricate, delicate flavors, each are very different, and yet nothing which will tax you. It's not like, not strong oil or chili or, so I think it's a beautiful gateway to the world of Indian food.
Thank you.
And for you, I remember once you were also telling me that your sole purpose when you're putting this together, or when you're cooking or everything, is something which your grandmother had told you about nourishment. So as we're signing off, would you like to share a bit about that, your grandmom's
so I really think that, so I really think that, food is never about the number of people you're cooking for. It's always about the quality. What is it that your food can offer to a person? I mean, like when you eat the food, what is it that you feed? Does that person, because I know that I'm very sensitive, I'm very perceptive with energies. And sometimes when I eat some food, I immediately start feeling, a little uncomfortable or discomfort, so I really think that food has that energy. And this is exactly what I'm trying to bring into Utupura, saying that, it's those energies of food which are so subtle, and which are so gifting to somebody's system, and I really think, and that is where my gratitude comes to all those people who come to Utupura. And this is where I would like to sign off on this day of Vishu, that so grateful that, I've been able to start off the Vishu series. I've been able to nourish few people the last week. I'm getting a chance to do that again. And it's my endeavor to keep this vegetarian, Keralite, lovely, divine food alive,
Thank you so much. And thank you so much for opening your home and heart to us through your
thank you.
food.
You,
and
thank you
wish
so
you a
much.
very, very, very happy and auspicious
Thank you.
Vishu.
Thank you.
Take care.
You too.
Bye.
Bye-bye.